much better. On the other hand, to say it's been so far so good, and I start with the second one, so far so good to the extent that by God's grace, Nigeria today remains a country, united, because it could have been much worse. We are not at war, even though we have some invisible enemies to deal with in the name of terrorists and on all manners of unknown gunmen who actually are threatening lives and property and are threatening our own economy. At the time, they were saying that there was a diversification of our economy away from the monolithic economy that is relying only on crude oil, and agriculture was beginning to take, its right place. And eventually this started, and everyone is driven out of the farms. So I really feel that that's part of the sad commentary of the whole thing. But having said that, I will still say that we still have a lot to thank God for in terms of, like I said, our unity as a nation, and the fact that a lot is still working. The job that is difficult, and it will be self-serving if in the obvious face of insecurity of life and property, you begin to emphasize so much on achievement in the area of infrastructure, and achievement in the area of, growth in the economy, growth in other aspects of the country. The insecurity thing is so loud that we just have to be modest in the way that we assess, the rest of the situations. But with respect to other sectors of our national life, I want to believe that the government has been up and running. Whether our best is good enough, for the realities of our situation is for Nigerians to decide, but I believe that as much as possible, the current administration has done so much with less money, in the last 7.5 years, because even when the country had so much money, not as much of this was accomplished in the area of infrastructural development. But again, it comes back to the same thing. We are stared with insecurity on the face, and all hands must be on deck to ensure that we're able to defeat terrorism.
Ladies, you are a lawyer by training, and now you are a senator. Looking at these two nomenclatures, would you say that the Nigerian Parliament, that's the National Assembly, as it stands now, is playing its role towards stabilizing the country's polity?
Oh, definitely, I would say that. A lot has happened by virtue of legislative action, coming from the National Assembly. And if you look at our polity, you see that a lot of stability is coming into play. And even in our economy, part of what the National Assembly had been able to do was to put in place all different manners of legislation that will ensure to stabilize our democracy and stabilize our economy. The electoral bill that was passed into law and signed into law by Mr. President was one piece of legislation that this National Assembly wanted to be able to leave behind as a legacy. And there's no doubting the fact that the days of election riggers are numbered, in this country, in this democracy, and within this polity by virtue of that law. And there's also no doubt in the fact that the petroleum industry bill that we passed, which was also signed into law, is helping to stabilize things within the oil and gas sector, which is a major aspect of our economy and a major source of revenue for us as a nation. We have been able to also put in place different other forms of legislation, which for me will have on the long run a major positive impact on the stability of this polity and the economy.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.